Somewhere, not that long ago, we've heard all these arguments before. Republicans finally have their longed-for tax reform, but now they have to sell it. And the rhetoric they are using to do so is raising comparisons to desperate Democratic efforts to mitigate the unpopularity of Obamacare 7 years ago. In short, it will get more popular once people learn more about it and the other party stops criticizing it. I got to say, out there on TV telling mistruths, disguising the facts of this thing, that's going to make it unpopular, House Speaker Paul Ryan, Republican Wisconsin, said Tuesday. The lies that have been spread, they vanish because you see what's in the bill, Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer of New York said in 2010, predicting that when seniors got better access to prescription drugs and small businesses secured tax cuts under the new law, the public would quickly embrace it. Every big piece of legislation is a leap of faith, especially those, like the GOP's latest triumph and the Affordable Care Act, that are passed along purely partisan lines. Back in 2010, the ACA was viewed by the public almost as unfavorably as the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which Tuesday night was saddled with a long, legislative essay name, is now. At that time, according to a CNN opinion research poll, 59% of Americans opposed Obamacare, as Republicans torched the plan as a huge government takeover of health care. On Tuesday, a new CNN poll found that 55% of voters opposed the controversial Republican tax bill, which is branded by Democrats as a massive bonanza for the rich. Back in 2010, President Barack Obama's White House rationalized the ACA's unpopularity by arguing that it was the process of passing the bill, not the benefits contained in it, that were unpopular. Officials also accused Republicans of diminishing the measure's support by demonizing its provisions. Democrats voiced repeated confidence that once it became law, Americans would love it. In early March 2010, the White House was betting that while Obamacare was unpopular with voters, opinion would soon turn in the favor of Democrats, The New York Times reported. The president has always subscribed to the notion that the politics will catch up, then White House spokesman Robert Gibbs told the paper. I think as people learn about the bill, and now that the bill is enacted, it's going to become more and more popular, Schumer, now the Senate Minority Leader, said on NBC's Meet the Press on March 28, 2010. 6 months later, Obama's then senior political advisor David Axelrod, a few weeks ahead of a midterm election that saw the GOP win back the House, partly owing to the ACA's unpopularity, also predicted that voters would eventually rebound to the president's favor. In some ways, Axelrod was correct. Despite the midterm election rout, Obamacare did slowly become more popular, and by the time Trump and the GOP attempted to repeal it this year, it was marginally positive in public perceptions. But those modest polling increases came far too late to help Democrats and Obama, a factor Republicans may bear in mind as they contemplate the chances of the tax bill reviving their own dinged polling numbers. Ryan, as he celebrated the House's initial passage of the tax bill on Tuesday, was in the exact opposite position as he was when Democrats used their monopoly on Washington power to pass the ACA. But his comments sounded awfully familiar, as he blamed Democrats for making the bill unpopular, and he said he had no concerns whatsoever about the measure's public standing. When people see their withholding improving, when they see the jobs occurring, when they see bigger paychecks, a fairer tax system, a simpler tax code, that's what's going to produce the results, Ryan said. In another echo of Schumer. Republican Representative Peter Roskam of Illinois on Tuesday adopted a novel argument, saying the tax reform bill's huge unpopularity was actually an advantage because it created low expectations that would cause a sudden surge in popularity. I think this is going to be far more pleasant for people, Roskam said on CNN's New Day. Another Republican, Senator John Kennedy, of Louisiana, also adopted a familiar Obamacare defense when he argued that the tax reform bill was unpopular only because people did not yet understand what was in it. A lot of the stuff that never made sense to me, we cleaned up, and once folks learn that, they'll be appreciative. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has been adopting a loftier defense of the bill, arguing that patriotism requires